Back at it.
Back at it. That's the good way to put it.
So, everyone, we're here to talk a little bit about the concessions and the changes in the contracts and for the buyers and sellers. Tom, can you give me any information, or could you share some information on the seller's concession and what that actually entails?
Sure. Seller concessions have been a part of the loan transaction since I've been in the industry for 25 years. From a lending standpoint, we consider them third-party contributions. So we hear the term seller concessions all the time, but any concessions from an interested party like a builder, a real estate agent, a lender, the seller, each loan program has its own criteria for that and how much is allowed. It can be as little as 2% on some loan programs. It can be as high as 9% on others. So it's definitely a question to make sure your lender has reviewed with you if you're going to be asking for concessions. And typically concessions from a seller can be used towards your closing costs, appraisal, title fees, lender fees, things of that nature, maybe taxes and insurance. It's never used for your down payment. That's always got to come from a different source, like your own funds, gift funds, a down payment assistance program, something like that. But the concessions can be used to offset the costs of getting the loan. And again, every loan program is a little bit different, so just check with your lender as to how much is allowed. So when you're out shopping, you know what your opportunities and your limits are.
Great. That even helps me out a little bit because it's really good to know that the concessions cannot be used for the down payment. And I think that's a misconception out there. And
yeah, and we also see that if you negotiate higher concessions than is allowed by the program or more than there are in closing costs, that means the seller gets kind of a free pass. So if the program only allows for 3% concessions and you negotiated 4%, the other 1% has to go back to the seller. It can't go anywhere.
Oh.
So you want to make sure that you have that conversation with your lender before making the offer, so that you're asking for the maximum amount that you feel you can get in this market, and aren't leaving anything on the table, as we like to say.
Great information. Sandy Bullowa, Tierra Antigua Realty, and I highly recommend Tom Heath with Nova Home Loans. Thank you again, Tom.
Thank you.